السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. Welcome to Quranic Arabic Academy, Arabic Grammar Made Easy, lesson number 6. Before we start this lesson, let's go through some of the terms in Arabic grammar we have learned in previous lessons. We started with a kalima. Kalima is a word. There are three types of kalimas in Arabic. Number one, ism, noun. Number two, fail, verb. Number three, harf, particle. Then regarding ism, in terms of gender, there's two types of ism. Number one is mudhakkar, masculine. Number two, muannas, feminine. So any noun we see in the Quran, either is going to be masculine noun or is going to be feminine noun. First, we will consider a noun masculine, unless until we specifically know it is muannas. There are some signs to find, to look for, to make it muannas. As I said, we will learn in the coming lessons. Another thing we've learned in terms of number. So ism can give us one meaning, ism can give us dual meaning or plural meaning. So singular is wahid, dual is muthanna, and plural is jama'. Wahid, muthanna, jama'. Then we've learned in terms of definiteness, there are two types of word. Number one is indefinite, which is a nakira, and number two, definite, which is ma'arifa. And we've learned how to make an indefinite ism into definite. Definite isms are those will show tanween on the last letter. And to make those into definite isms, we add al, which is alif lam at the beginning of the ism. When alif lam comes, the tanween drops. Another thing we've learned in terms of person is third person, ghaib, second person, mukhatab, the first person, mutakallim. So ghaib, mukhatab, mutakallim. And then we've started learning our fail, the verb. There are two types of verb. Number one, al-fail al-madi, that gives the meaning in the past tense, that anything that happened in the past. The action took place in the past. Number two, al-fail al-mudari'. This fail gives meaning in the present or in the future. Something happening now, we use fail mudari'. Or something will happen in the future, we use fail al-mudari'. Then we've learned in fail, we have fa'il, the doer. So every fail needs a fa'il. And then we've learned the fa'il always comes after fail and always is in halatul rafa. Again, in terms of ending case or case ending of any ism, we've learned three. Number one, halatul rafa, halatul nasb, and halatul jar. So halatul rafa, in this case, the ism will have dhamma on the last letter. In halatul nasb, the ism will have fatha on the last letter. And in halatul jar, the ism will have kasra on the last letter. In the last lesson, we've learned about the object of the sentence. So object, which is called maf'ul, and maf'ul, the i'rab case ending is halatul nasb. It will have a fatha on the last letter. The normal order, the fa'il first, then the fa'il, then the maf'ul, is the normal order of jumla al-fi'liyah. Fa'il always will come after the fa'il. Fa'il, the doer, will never ever come before the fa'il. It's always after. So we look for the doer after the fa'il. And maf'ul can come anywhere, as long as we see the ism in halatul nasb. So fa'il can come before the fa'il. Sorry, maf'ul. Maf'ul can come before the fa'il, or maf'ul can come even before the fa'il. We'll give you some examples today that maf'ul is coming even before the fa'il. Then we've learned fa'il al-madi. Fa'il al-madi has 14 forms, 14 patterns, 14 scales. Those are called sigha. So 14 sigha of fa'il al-madi. We start from third person, mudhakkar, wahid, then muthanna, then jama. We have to master this fa'il al-madi. Until we are not master of fa'il al-madi, we're not able to recognize which form, which sigha, when we see in the Quran. So let's start the lesson today. Let's go through what we have learned briefly. So today's lesson, maf'ul continued. We'll be talking more about maf'ul. At the same time, we'll be learning what we've learned in the past. We need to read this again and again so it sticks in our head. We have learned that every fa'il requires a fa'il, and the fa'il is always in halatul rafa, which the last letter we read dhamma. Some fa'il require an object too to complete the sentence. So just with the fa'il and fa'il, the sentence is incomplete until we bring an object, a maf'ul. Because maf'ul is there to show the action took place in this ism, maf'ul. In Arabic, the object is called maf'ul. Maf'ul is always in halatul nasb. As long as we remember these two, case ending, fa'il case ending is halatul rafa, and maf'ul case ending is halatul nasb. Then we've learned a table or some vocabulary of verbs. In that group, we put the fa'il nasara on the top, and we call it the nasara group. The nasara group. In that group, we've learned many fa'ils. For example, we'll go through those verbs again. The abada, to worship, and sha'ara, to feel. So let's take one of the verb and conjugate. Put that فعل in every صيغة of فعل الماضي. The فعل الماضي, this is the chart of فعل الماضي. We can see on the right غايب third person, then مخاطب second person, متكلم first person. Then مذكر and مؤنث for غايب, and on the top واحد مثنى جمع. The first صيغة is نصر. That's the default, without adding anything, نصر. As we said, the fa'il is built in with these sigas. Fa'il madi, always the fa'il is built in. So nasara is used, the first siga is used when the ism is present in the sentence. When any noun that is to be the fa'il is present, we use nasara. If that ism is not present, we make the huwa, the damir huwa, the fa'il, which we call hidden, mustatir. The first siga, if ism is not mentioned, huwa will be the fa'il. For mu'annas, nasarat, we add the ta sakin to make it mu'annas. If there is no ism after it, here is the fa'il. And remember, rest of the sigas, the fa'il comes with it. Because rest of the siga never ever will see an ism after it. Because for one siga, two isms cannot be fa'il. Only one ism has to be fa'il. So here we've learned the alif is the fa'il for muthanna. Jama nasaru, the waw is the fa'il. Let's go to muannas. For nasarat, we've learned the fa'il is here. Nasarata, this ta alif is the fa'il. Ta nasarna, the noon is the fa'il. Nasarna. Mukhatab, nasarta, this ta is the fa'il. The fatha is there to pronounce, to make it mudhakkar. Otherwise, the ta is the fa'il. For muthanna, nasartuma, tuma is the fa'il. You both. Nasara means to help, so you both helped. Nasaratum, tum is the fa'il, so we can translate, you all male helped. Muannas nasarati, again the ta is the fa'il, the kasra is there to pronounce, to make it muannas. You one female helped. Nasartuma, you both female helped. Nasaratunna, tunna is the fa'il to give us you all female meaning. You all female helped. Mutakallim first person, mudhakkar and muannas. Wahid, nasaratu. Again here the ta is the fa'il. The dhamma is there to pronounce, to make it mutakallim wahid. Otherwise the ta is the fa'il. Nasarana, used for muthanna and jama. Mudhakkar and muannas. Here the na is the fa'il to give us we meaning. So let's go through this chart again and again and again until we are master of this. Start from beginning. Nasara, nasara, nasaru, nasarat, nasarata, nasarna, nasarta, nasartuma, nasartum, nasarti, nasartuma, nasaratunna, nasaratu, nasarna. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If anyone cannot access the lessons, well, it's on YouTube. It's not in our control. YouTube, those of you who can access, that means it's working. For those who cannot access, I had a problem on their side. Again, let's go through this. Nasara, Nasara, Nasaru. You have to memorize. You have to memorize. Take some time out. You're not going to memorize, just looking at it, you're not going to remember it. It's 14 forms. Come on, it's not much. 14 forms. Memorize these as much as possible for you. Once you are master of this, that's it. You just have to do once. I cannot emphasize more than that. You have to memorize. Once you memorize this, again, we can do thousand and thousand verbs exactly the same way. Okay, in a bit, we're going to take another verb and then we're going to put on this scale and conjugate. All you have to remember, for ghaib, the alif for muthanna, the waw for jama. And for muannas, the ta for muthanna and the noon niswa for jama muannas. After that, mukhatab is easy. Just have to remember ta, tuma, tum, ti, tuma, tunna, tu, na. So ta, tuma, tum, ti, tuma, tunna, tu, na. These are the damirs that comes with only fi'l madi. These damirs only are attached to fi'l al-madi. Okay, this is the Nasara group. Let's do another one, which is easy one. This, all are easy. As long as we know the chart of al-Madi, we can put. Let's use dhakara. 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 To make a muthanna, I need alif. Dhakara. To make a jama mudhakkar ghaib, the waw. Remember, waw demands dhamma before it. So dhakaru. For muannas, ghaib, to make it muannas, we need the ta sakin. So dhakarat. For muthanna, we need the ta alif, dhakarata. For jama muannas, we need the noon niswa. And the last letter of fail will be sakin. So dhakarna. After the all the same, dhakarta, dhakartuma, dhakartum, dhakarti, dhakartuma, dhakartunna, dhakartu, dhakarna. So dhakara means remember. So dhakarna, we remembered. So we is the doer, the fa'il, which is na. You can take any verb and just abada. Abada, abada, abadu, abadat, abadata, abadna. They all female worshipped. Abadna. Abatta, you worship. Abattuma, you both worship. Abattum. Okay. In the last 10 surahs, this siga comes in one of the surah. Can anyone tell me which surah do we find this siga abattum? Which surah do you find this siga abattum? Yes, I've got one answer. Surah Al-Kafirun. Surah Al-Kafirun. Yeah, the alif after the waw, the alif after the waw here, I did talk about in the second lesson when we did Fa'al Madi. Yes, this alif comes with it in writing. In pronouncing, the alif is silent, but in writing, the alif comes with it, yes. So let's go through Surah Kafirun and see where we find this صيغة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون. So over here, أعبد is another صيغة of another فعل. We haven't done that yet. Those of you know, yes, it's فعل المضارع. So when we do فعل المضارع, we'll look into this صيغة as well. لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم. Here we have this صيغة عبدتم. ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. Now after going through this فعل ماضي, all the 14 صيغas, anywhere in the Quran we're able to find فعل al-Madi. Even a fail comes that we don't know the meaning of that fail, but still we can recognize by looking at the sigha, we sigha it is. All we have to remember, alif for muthanna ghaib, waw for jama ghaib, mudhakkar. For muannas, we need the ta and alif, and for jama muannas, we need the waw niswa, and for mukhatab is very easy, ta, tuma, tum, ti, tuma, tunna, tu, na. Okay, so this Nasara group, there are many other verbs falls in this group. This is not limited, but these are the Quranic verbs occurs a lot. You've got the numbers here. Kafara, 461 times in different sigas of fail. Not only the first, not only kafara, but different sigas. Together is 461. Say the Quran is a repetition of words. Quran is repetition of words. Words occurs again and again and again. This is why we said right in the beginning, first lesson, there are about 300 plus words in the Quran. So these words either can be ism, fail, and harf. All three type of word occurs in the Quran, 300 plus. Our Muslims, come on. We are unable to memorize 300 words. Okay, next group. So in this group is called Fatah group. Let's go through these verbs. Fataha, to open, to give victory. Comes 29 times. Next, Ba'atha, to raise or to resurrect. 65 times. Ja'ala, these fail occurs a lot. 346 times. Ja'ala, to make, to place, to set up. Next, Jama'a, to gather or to collect. Dhahaba, again another famous verb. Dhahaba, to go. 35 times. Rafa'a, to raise. Sahara, to enchant or to bewitch. Sahara. The Sahara also gives us a meaning of influence, to make influence. Sahara. Next, Salaha, to act righteously. Again, another very famous verb. Comes 131 times. Next, La'ana, to curse. Comes 27 times in different forms of sigas, okay? Another one, Nafa'a, to profit. Only 10 verbs in this group, only 10 verbs. We need to memorize them. Fataha, Ba'atha, Ja'ala. So how do we memorize? Obvious. We need to repeat many times. Fataha, to open. Fataha, to open. To give victory. Fataha, to open, to give victory. Fataha, to open. The way we memorize surahs, we have to memorize these verbs. Ba'atha, to raise. Ba'atha, to resurrect. Ba'atha, to resurrect. Ba'atha, memorize. Ja'ala, jama'a, together, to collect. Jama'a, together, to collect. Okay, so again, I have to say, memorize these verbs and put on the pattern of Almadi. So let's take Fataha and conjugate Almadi. Let's see if we can. Say with me. Fataha, Fataha, Fatahu, Fatahat, Fatahata, Fatahna, Fatahta, Fatahtuma, Fatahtum, Fatahti, Fatahtuma, Fatahtunna, Fatahtu, Fatahna. There's a surah by this verb, Surah Al-Fath, victory. The surah starts, Inna fatahna laka fatha mubina. So fatahna, jama mutakallim is used here. Fatahna, we gave you victory. Ja'ala, let's conjugate ja'ala. Ja'ala, ja'ala, ja'alu, ja'alat, ja'alata, ja'alna. جعلت جعلتما جعلتم جعلتي جعلتما جعلتن جعلت جعلنا. The muqaddam mutakallim is straightforward, very easy. Once we start, we can continue going on and on. Jama'a, 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 jama'u, jama'at, jama'ata, jama'na, jama'ata, jama'tuma, jama'tum, jama'ti, jama'tuma, jama'tunna. I gathered will be, yes, correct. Jama'tu. And we gathered, we collected. Jama'na. Last one, nafa'a. Let's go through this nafa'a. Nafa'a, nafa'a, nafa'u, nafa'at, nafa'ata, nafa'na. Nafa'ta, nafa'tuma, nafa'tum, nafa'ti, nafa'tuma, nafa'tunna, nafa'tu, nafa'na. If you find other way easier, yeah, you can do it. As long as we recognize these verbs, these sigas, straight away by looking at it. Which siga is this? Right. Good. Now let's apply what we have learned. Fa'il comes after fail. Fa'il is always in rafa case. Right. One thing. let's go back here. Here, nasarati. The ta is the file, as we've learned. Ta is the file for this siga, nasarati. Let's apply what we've learned. File comes after fail. When nasara is the fail, yes, file is coming after fail. Number 2, file is always in halatul rafa. On the last letter, we will read, or it will show dhamma. But why is it showing kasra here? So our rule is broken then. Well, the rule is not broken. The rule is those solid nouns, the isms, solid noun. These are pronoun, these are damir. In the later lessons, we will learn these damirs never changes. Okay? It is in place of halatul rafa, but these damirs are called mabni, never changes, stays as it is. Okay? And these damirs only will come in place of rafa. These damirs will never come in place of nasab. These damirs will never come in place of jar. These damirs only comes with fi'l al-madi and in place of fa'il. And fa'il is in halatul rafa. So it is in halatul rafa. They don't change. It is kasra. Like nasaratu. Okay, we say, okay, dhamma is there. But that is not the dhamma we're looking for. It's not dhamma of halatul rafa. This is mabni. It is nasarata. By looking at it, we're not going to say, oh, this is maf'ul, because we've learned maf'ul is in halatul nasb. No, this is fa'il. In the background, it is in halatul rafa. In a way, we can say it is in dhamma. But because these damirs never change the harakat on the last letter, it will remain as it is. So we will call it is in halatul rafa. And the maf'ul we've learned, maf'ul is always in halatul nasb. Maf'ul, halatul nasb. When we see isms as maf'ul, as an object, we will see fatha. What about the damir coming as maf'ul? Again, we will learn in the later lessons the different type of damirs that comes as maf'ul to be in halatul nasb. Okay, let's go through some of the examples from the Quran. Okay, find the fail and find the fa'il, find the maf'ul we do have in the sentence. So over here we can see the fail fataha. After that, let's look for the fa'il. Any ism we see in halatul rafa means having dhamma on the last letter, that will be the fa'il. Next word is the lafz Allahu. Next word is alaykum. We don't need to go that far. Straight after fa'il we can see an ism, lafz Allah, having dhamma on the last letter. So lafz Allah is the fa'il of fataha, means Allah opened. Okay. When we see the coming words after it, then we'll be able to translate either victory or the open. Okay. فتحنا عليهم أبواب كل شيء. Let's find the file first. Any ism, solid ism in halatul rafa having dhamma on it. Do you see any solid ism? No, there is no any solid ism in halatul rafa having dhamma on it. So go back, let's look for the damir. Okay, who can tell me what is the file here? Fatahna. Yes, the noon alif is the fa'il to give us the meaning of we. Fatahna. So we have opened. Let's open what? Let's look for the maf'ul. What is the maf'ul here? Any ism that has fatha on the last letter in halatul nasb. So we have alayhim, one word. We don't see fatha on it, on the last letter, the meme. Next we have abwaba. Yes, this ism is in halatul nasb to be the maf'ul. So the action of opening has taken an effect on the abwab. By the way, it is the plural of babun, door. Abwaba, doors. So we are saying we have opened the doors of everything for them. Kulli shay. We have opened the doors of everything. Good. Next one. وَلَمَّا فَتَحُوا مَتَاعَهُمْ. So we've learned the damirs. If you remember, hum is one of the damirs. وَجَدُوا بِضَاعَتَهُمْ. Again, a damir. We need to find fa'il. We need to find maf'ul. So there's two verbs used here. One is fataha, one is wajada. So let's find the file of fataha first. Yes, we just talked about it. The wow, fatahu. The wow is the fa'il to give us plural they, meaning they, fatahu. We just did it. Nasara, nasara, nasaru. Fataha, fataha, fatahu. The wow is the file. By looking at the wow, we'll translate they all. Maf'ul, which is maf'ul? Mata'a. Here we're having the nasab, the fatha. Okay, the word mata'un, mata'un is luggage. Mata'un. This is from Surah Yusuf, when they went to Misr the first time and they saw Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf alayhi salam gave them loads of food and also returned their goods secretly. So when they came home, walamma, when fatahu, they opened mata'ahum. Hum means here possession, hum, okay, their luggage. When they opened their luggage. Wajadu, another verb. Find the file here. The same siga as fatahu. Fatahu, wajadu. Yes, the waw is the fa'il. They found. Wajada, to find. They found bida'atahum. their goods. Next, رُدَّتْ إِلَيْهِمْ, returned back to them. And they found their goods, because when they went to Egypt, they didn't need to pay for the food. So whatever they took to pay for the foods, those goods were returned back to them secretly. And when they opened their luggage, they found their goods. رُدَّتْ إِلَيْهِمْ, after it, to return back to them. Next, وَلَوْ فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ بَابًا. Again, we have fail here, فَتَحَا. The na is the fa'il. We have opened. وَلَوْ, law comes if, condition. If we have opened, عَلَيْهِمْ, upon them, for them, بَابًا, a door. That is مفعول. Next, this is easy one. جمع مالا. Find the fa'il, find the maf'ul. In Surah Humaza, الذي جمع مالا وعدده. Or وعدده. Read all of it. الذي جمع, sorry, why did I put kasra there? Mistake. Alif demands fatha before it, not kasra. Fatha should be there. What is the file here? Jama'a. First, we look for a solid ism having dhamma on it. If we find, we make that a file. If not, go back to fail and look for the file there. Because this is the first sigha. Remember, the file of the first sigha mudhakkar is, yes, huwa. Let's look for the maf'ul. Do you have any isms after fail? Yes, we do have. That ism is in nasab case, having fatha. Yes. Why is it two fathas? Why is it tanween? Because it's indefinite word. Indefinite. Now we can translate. We found the fail. We found the fa'il. We found the maf'ul. He gathered wealth. He gathered wealth. Right, few more examples. We'll finish the lesson now. جعل لكم الأرض فراشا. Find the fail, which is جعل. Let's look for the fa'il. Again, any ism in halatul rafa having dhamma. So la is a harf. Okay? It's not ism. Kum, it should be kum. Actually, it is kum. Okay. Again, kum is not a solid ism. It is a damir. When this damir we connect with the next ism. Because remember, two sukun never comes together. So here lakum, we have one sukun, and al, we have another sukun. So two sukuns coming together never happens. You cannot have two sukuns coming together. So what do? We put a dhamma on the meme so we can connect alif lam. That's why it's lakumul ard. Just remember this, kum is a pronoun. We need to find a solid ism in halatul rafa. Do we say no? There is no ism in حالة الرفع. So we go back to فعل, look which صيغة it is, the file will be there. It is the صيغة number 1, واحد مذكر غائب. So the file is هو. Now let's look for the مفعول, the object. We find two isms here. One is al-ard, another one is firash. Both of them we see in halatun nasb. Yes. Remember we did say some fi'ls will have two objects, two maf'ul. This is it. So al-arda is the first maf'ul, maf'ul al-awwal, and firashan also in halatun nasb, that is maf'ul al-thani, the second maf'ul. We know the meaning of ja'ala, to make. We've got the file, he made. What? Al-arda, the earth. He made the earth. Firashan. Another ism, maybe this new ism to you, bed. Okay, or floor. Bed or floor. He made the earth a bed or a floor. Lakum, for you. Either we can translate word by word, or we can translate as a sentence that fits in the sentence. He made for you, lakum, the earth as a bed. Or he made the earth a bed for you. Either way is okay. But keep it word to word. Because we are learning, let's translate word to word. Ja'ala, he made, lakumu, for you, the earth as a bed. Okay, very quickly. جعل الله الكعبة البيت الحرام قياما للناس. We found the fail because this jumla starts with the fail. This whole jumla فعلية, a verbal sentence. By looking at it, we can see one ism in halatul rafa, which is the lafz Allah. So that will be the file. Now we can translate Allah made. Ja'ala. Allah made. Now we see 1, 2, 3, 4 isms in halatul nasb. Al-Ka'bata, then Al-Bayta, then Al-Harama, then Qiyaman. All these isms we see in halatul nasb. So can all these be maf'ul? We said that some fi'ls requires 2 maf'ul. 3 maf'uls? Nah, maybe very rare. But let's say no for now. 4 maf'uls? Never. So what are all these other isms doing then? What are they? Again, we will learn later on. But over here, because Kaaba and Bayt is the same thing, isn't it? The same thing. So our maf'ul over here is Al-Ka'bata. Al-Ka'bata. What is Kaaba? A bit of description of that Kaaba. Or Al-Bayt is the same as Kaaba. So over here, Al-Bayt will be what we'll call Badal. Okay? That is another term, Al-Badal. When we talk about the same thing using a different word, but it's the same thing. So that is called Badal. So Al-Bayta, Al-Harama, sacred. So it is a description. We are describing Al-Bayt. So here the al-Ka'bata is the main maf'ul. So other al-Bayta and al-Harama is connected with al-Bayt. Okay. Those things, if you don't understand, I'm not teaching any of those, just to give an example. Now we can translate. Allah made the Kaaba. Allah made the Kaaba. What is Kaaba? Al-Bayt al-Harama, the sacred house. Made what? Qiyaman. This is maf'ul thani, second maf'ul of ja'ala. Qiyam, standing. Or in some translation, you'll see support. Support. Linnas, we know the word nas, people. And those of us, we know the li, which is one of the huruful jar, to give the meaning for people. Allah made the Kaaba, the sacred house, standing for people. Okay. Last one, as we've said, maf'ul can come before the fail. Here we have a fail which is 4-letter word fail. I was trying to find any 3-letter verb that maf'ul comes before it. I couldn't find it. This is the famous ayah. The verb is akmala. Akmala. So lam is the last letter of the verb. What siga is this? Akmaltu. Can you tell me which siga is this? Akmala, to complete. Akmala. The lam is the last letter. We have a sukun on the last letter. And this tu damir is attached to this fail. Here, the ta is the fa'il. But which siga is it? Yes, I asked which siga. I didn't ask what is the fa'il. Yes, it is used for ana. Okay, this siga is used for ana. But remember, ana is not the fa'il here. The ta is the fa'il. I know what you mean, but I said I want the proper answer so you understand. Yes, mutakallim, again, which one? We have wahid mutakallim, we have muthanna mutakallim, we have jama mutakallim. Yes, it is wahid mutakallim. We call it wahid mutakallim. Akmaltu, we have the fail, we have the fa'il. Let's look for a maf'ul. If we look after the fail, we have lakum. Again, this cannot be. It is kum is the damir. Dina, dina. Kum again is damir. So this is not a maf'ul. Dina. What about al-yawma? The beginning. Yes, it is also maf'ul because we see it in halatun nasb. But it's coming before the fail. The normal order we've learned fail, fa'il, then maf'ul. So as we said, sometime maf'ul also can come before the fail. Okay, we will find only this order in the Quran. In normal Arabic conversation, normal Arabic talking, we don't find this style, but this style only we find in the Quran. Why? Sometime either to emphasize on that word, emphasize. So al-yawma, today, I have completed for you, lakum, for you, your religion. Yeah. So sometimes if you see any ism before the fail and it is in halat nasab, remember that will be maf'ul. Okay. So I thought today's lesson will be short lesson, but again, many things to explain, many things to go through, many things to understand. Yeah, it took almost 1 hour. May Allah give us tawfiq, inshallah. When you read the Quran next time, any verb you come across, stop and think which siga it is. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept the time we are giving. We ask Allah to give barakah in our time. We ask Allah to give reward of every second of these lessons and hours for every letter of the Quran. As Nabi Muhammad says, whoever reads a letter from Quran, he or she will earn 10 rewards. So these are all Quranic ayats, Quranic words, Quranic letters. Inshallah, for each letter we have earned 10 rewards from this lesson, and inshallah we'll be earning loads and loads of rewards in the coming lessons. Allah accept our effort, Allah make us the people of Quran, and we ask Allah, Allah, before I die, give me the ability so I can understand what I am reading from the Quran. Subhana Amin. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.